Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be walking you through my experience just going through the airport during COVID-19 and how an international flight to Korea works during this time. It's really to walk you through like the airport if you've never been there before for any first-time travelers, and then also just some of the new procedures that are going on during COVID-19. Before you even begin the flight, some things you want to note is you need to make sure that you know the luggage limit. This is more important for checked-in luggage. So any of the bigger luggages that are checked in and you do not carry onto the plane. So for these luggages, you want to make sure that you're under the weight limit, otherwise you'll be charged an additional amount. For Korean Air specifically, you are allowed 2 checked-in luggages, weight around 50 pounds each. So another thing is that when you're going to the airport, you want to make sure that the items that you're bringing are permitted. This is important because if there are any forbidden items, they'll be taken away or they'll be disposed of. So you just want to make sure that the items that you're bringing are allowed. And I'll attach a list below so you can see what items are allowed at the airport. And another thing to note, this is more of, I guess, like a recommendation, is do not overpack. This may sound a little bit silly because you're going on an international flight and you're expecting to bring a lot of stuff, but at the same time, you want to make sure that what you're bringing is something you'll actually be using. So when packing clothes, make sure to think about what you'll actually wear, and also try not to bring any duplicate clothing. So like any clothes that look similar, such as like multiple pairs of jeans or multiple colors of the same shirt, I would not recommend bringing those just because it takes up luggage space. Another thing for packing is that you want to make sure that you're packing very compact. So make sure to pack clothes in plastic bags or any reusable bags, and make sure to like compress all the air out of it. Some people I know also use vacuum seals or vacuum packs, so you can also vacuum your clothes to make it fit even tighter. Make sure that what you're bringing you'll be using again, so don't try to bring anything that you're not sure you're going to be using or that you can buy in the country that you're traveling in. So that's just some important things to note. Before you even drive to the airport, make sure you know what terminal you're going to. This is just important just because you don't want to be lost, especially at an international airport. It can be very confusing. So make sure you know what terminal you're supposed to go to. And you can often find your terminal number on your airplane ticket. So make sure to check that before you even drive to the airport. Most reasonable time to come to the airport would probably be 4 hours ahead of your flight time, just because the check-in counter might not even be open until then. So if you're worried about something, try not to be, and just come in at maximum 4 hours early, because you cannot do anything earlier than that. So for me, I checked in around 8:30 p.m. and my flight was scheduled for 12:30 p.m. So it was the earliest check-in possible. I was really nervous about the PCR test, so that's why I came as early as possible. At the check-in counter at Korean Air, what they'll do is that they'll check your documents. Specifically, they'll check your PCR test. They'll also check your visa, or they'll also check where you're staying for quarantine. So it's not really that difficult at the check-in counter. They just want to make sure that you have a valid PCR test and that you're also have the documents ready to be able to board onto the plane. So at the check-in counter, this is also when you give your checked luggage. So this is the luggage that you're not bringing onto the plane and that will be checked in and stored in the pits of the cabin. Some things to know about checked-in luggage is that you do run the risk of losing your luggage. This is like a really low risk, and I don't think it is something you should worry about, but there is a slight risk of losing your luggage. So when you're packing for your checked luggage, just make sure that there are not any super valuable items in there, or if there are really valuable items in there, make sure to like have some kind of identifying thing on your luggage to help it make it easier in the case that it gets lost. So for me, I put bandanas onto my luggage. You can also put stickers, or you can also put like a tag just to make sure people are able to locate it in the case it does get lost. So the pros about doing checked luggage is that you can store a lot more items in there, and when it comes to liquids, you can store a lot bigger amounts. Seem like a very daunting process, but if you prepare ahead of time, this is a lot easier and it won't be as stressful for you. So some things to note is that when it comes to security, you want to make sure that you have everything ready in hand. Make sure you have your passport and boarding pass ready, so you can just hand it to the officer and they can look and check you in, basically. And you should have items ready to take out. In the case of the pandemic, you don't have to take out items in certain airports, but it's just good to know, just to make sure that even if you're not in a pandemic or your airport doesn't allow you to keep items in your bag, to just take out these items. So make sure to take off your shoes and dump any liquids. So in the case of water, make sure to dump all the water from your water bottles. By doing this, you're just able to go through the process a lot faster and people won't have to be waiting behind you. Things to also take out and put in the gray bins to check through the x-ray. You would want to take out any electronic bigger than your phone. So laptops or cameras or anything that is just bigger than a phone, you would want to take out. You can also take out any of your carry-on liquids. So liquids have to be less than 3.4 fluid ounces, I believe. And you would want them all in a Ziploc bag, a freezer-sized Ziploc bag. So make sure to take that out. In the case for me, I have film. You can request a hand check. So with the hand check, you can just tell your officer, I would like to request a hand check, and give them the items that you want specifically to be checked by hand. Checking your items, you want to make sure that any item that you're not hand checking, you need to still put it in the gray bin. So in the case of my film, I made sure to put the film camera bag in the gray bin because it was still an item that needed to be checked. And it's needed to go through the x-ray. So that's just something to note. After this portion, it's a lot easier for pre-departure. You just want to be able to locate your gate. So for this part, you want to be able to just see the gate number. It should be right next to the terminal number on your boarding pass. So you just want to note where your gate is. Usually there are signs on the ceiling that are able to like help you navigate through the airport and find the gate that you're looking for. And then that should be it. And then you just wait. You can just wait on the chairs. Specifically for Korea, they will check your PCR test right before you board the plane. So make sure to have your PCR document out. It'll already be pre-checked at the check-in counter, but they just would want to check one more time. And then after that, you are ready to go. And that is basically pre-departure. Hopefully that was a lot smoother or easier, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And yeah, feel free to also offer any advice for first-time travelers or traveling through a pandemic. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.